Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the podcast, and welcome to your Monday Night Raw post show. And man, there is a lot to talk about in today's episode. We hear from the Vision. We also have Penta. We hear from Penta and about the Intercontinental title. We have Javon Evans in action as well. We hear from the Women's Tag Team Champions, Brie Bella and Paige. We also have the Oba Femi Open Challenge once again this week. We'll talk about that and how I feel about that in today's episode. We have Io Sky in action, taking on the new addition to Monday Night Raw, Sol Ruka. She's making her main roster Raw debut. Like I said, we had Oba Femi Open Challenge. We also have a AAA Mega Championship matchup between champion Dominic Mysterio and El Grande Americano. And we also have the acknowledgement ceremony for Roman Reigns. We'll talk all about that in today's episode, man. But let's start off tonight. We hear from the Vision. The Vision come out to the ring with Paul Heyman. Heyman grabs a microphone. He mocks the crowd, but Heyman hypes up Braun Breaker. Heyman says, "Who's not ready now?" And the answer to that question is Seth Rollins. Heyman says that Rollins wasn't ready for Braun Breaker. Heyman says he wants to erase Rollins completely from the history of the Vision. Theory then grabs a microphone. He talks about Braun returning. He also mentions the Street Profits. Theory then mocks the Street Profits, saying that Bianca can't pay the bills anymore, and that's why Montez is back. After that, the Vision is interrupted by the Street Profits. Montez comes out to the ring with Dawkins. Montez grabs the microphone and says, "Theory's got a point. I'm here too because Bianca can't pay the bills." Montez says they're back for the World Tag titles, or World Tag Team titles, and they want all the smoke. Logan says that the Street Profits are old news. Logan says that Bianca is a better wrestler than Montez Ford. After that, Joe Hendry is here, and Hendry is ringside with the guitar singing "Can We Fire Logan Paul?" Moving on from that, we go into our impromptu match of the night. It is the Vision taking on Joe Hendry and the Street Profits. I thought it was a good match. It was a back-and-forth matchup between both teams with Joe Hendry and the Street Profits keeping the pace of the match. Breaker then hits a devastating lariat on Montez, followed by a suplex in the middle of the ring. Joe Hendry then gets involved in the match by hitting a fallaway slam on Logan Paul. Breaker then hits a release German suplex, followed by Hendry hitting a suplex of his own. Montez then hits a power slam for a near fall in the middle of the ring, followed by a step-up enziguri. Breaker then goes for a spear on the outside, but then out of nowhere, Rollins attacks Braun Breaker. This allowed Dawkins to hit a roll-up, pins for the 3, and your winners of the match are Joe Hendry and the Street Profits. After the match, Braun Breaker hits a spear on Dawkins. Rollins then throws Breaker out of the ring. Montez gets in the ring, and he looks pissed off at Seth Rollins. Some interesting stuff there between the Vision and Seth Rollins. Moving on from that, we hear from Intercontinental Champion Penta. Penta comes out to the ring. Penta talks about the Intercontinental title. Penta then calls out Ethan Page. Ethan Page comes out to the ring. He mocks Penta. Ethan says that he pinned the Intercontinental Champion last week, which seemingly would make him the number 1 contender. Penta says that he's not afraid to defend the Intercontinental title. Hell, how about right now? Ethan Page then says no. Ethan says that you're looking at the next Intercontinental Champion. Ethan says that Saturday night's main event, it will be himself taking on Penta for the Intercontinental title. After that, Ethan Page and Penta are interrupted by Rusev. Rusev comes down to the ring. Rusev says that Page is getting a title shot before him and makes him laugh. Page says that he already talked to Pierce, but Evans interrupted him. After that, Evans comes out to the ring with the microphone. Evans says that Page is lying, and that Page pushes Evans into Rusev, and Penta attacks Ethan Page. Moving on from that, we got an impromptu matchup. It is Javon Evans taking on Rusev. I thought it was a good match. It was a back-and-forth matchup between Evans and Rusev, with Rusev keeping the pace of the match. Rusev then hits a spin kick, followed by a suplex. Evans then gets up, hits a springboard whisper in the wind, taking out Rusev. Rusev then gets up, hits a fallaway slam, sending Evans onto the announce table. Evans then gets up, hits a springboard lariat for a near fall, but Rusev hits a Machka kick on Evans for a near fall. Evans then hits a Pele kick, followed by Evans hitting his signature OG cutter, taking out Rusev, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match is Javon Evans. Hats off to Javon Evans for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we hear from the Women's Tag Team Champions, Brie Bella and Paige. Brie and Paige come out to the ring. Brie grabs a microphone, talks about Roxanne and Raquel wanting both herself and Paige to be on Raw. Brie and Paige then call out Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez. Roxanne and Raquel are here. Roxanne mocks Brie and Paige. Then Brie mocks Liv Morgan. Brie says that she wanted Roxanne to carry her own legacy and not be a footnote for the Judgment Day. Brie then mentions Roxanne's mom. Raquel then mocks Paige. Raquel then calls Brie and Paige washed up has-beens. After this, an all-out brawl happens in the middle of the ring. Then Liv Morgan enters the ring and hits a code breaker, taking out Paige. Some interesting stuff there from the Judgment Day. Moving on from that, we go into our next match of the night. It is Io Sky taking on Sol Ruca. This was Ruca's first match as a member of the Monday Night Raw roster. I thought it was a good match. It was a back-and-forth matchup between Io and Sol Ruca, with Io keeping the pace of the match. Io hits a Hurricane Rana off the apron, taking out Sol Ruca, but Ruca gets up, hits a springboard corkscrew to the outside, taking out Io Sky. Io then hits a Spanish fly off the top rope for a near fall. Io and Sol then both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Sol hitting a Blue Thunder Bomb-like maneuver on Io Sky in the middle of the ring for a near fall. Sol then hits a DDT for a near fall, but Io gets up, hits a running knee. Io then goes to the top rope, goes for a moonsault, but Sol counters it with the knees up. Sol then goes for a Soul Snatcher, but Io counters it with the roll-up, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match is Io Sky. Hats off to Io Sky for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we hear from Oba. Oba has his Open Challenge once again this week. The first time we had the Open Challenge, it was Oba Femi taking on Otis. So Oba comes out to the ring, grabs a microphone, and says, now is the time for the Open Challenge. Adam Pearce is here. Pearce says that nobody has answered the challenge and says that the Open Challenge is canceled. This irate Oba Femi, he's pissed off. Oba then goes to the backstage area and spots Los Garza, Angel Garza, and Berto. Oba then yells at the ref to ring the bell. Oba then was keeping the pace. He ends up launching Los Garza across the ring, with Oba Femi hitting a fall from grace on Berto, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match is Oba Femi. Hats off to Oba Femi for getting the win in this matchup. And moving on from that, we have a AAA Mega Championship matchup where it is Dominic Mysterio defending the AAA Mega title against El Grande Americano, or OG Americano, I should say. But the match itself was a good match. It was a back-and-forth matchup between Americano and Mysterio, with OG Americano keeping the pace of the match. Americano hits a Northern Light suplex in the middle of the ring, but Dominic sends OG Americano over the ring post to the outside. OG Americano then gets up, hits an angle slam, followed by a moonsault for a near fall. Mysterio then tries to get some offense in by hitting a Michinoku driver on Americano in the middle of the ring for a near fall. OG Americano then hits a dragon suplex for a near fall. El Rayo and Bravo are here. El Grande attacks OG Americano. This allowed Dominic to hit a DDT for a near fall. Los Hermanos Americanos are here. They attack Bravo and Rayo. OG Americano then attacks El Grande Americano. This allowed Dominic to capitalize on the distraction. Dom hits a 619, followed by a frog splash, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match, and still AAA Mega Champion, is Dominic Mysterio. Hats off to Dominic Mysterio for getting the win in this matchup. And moving on from that, we hear from the OTC himself, the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, with the acknowledgement ceremony. Now, Roman comes out to the ring, grabs a microphone, tells the fans to acknowledge him. After that, Fatu is shown on the Titantron show, arriving to the arena. Jey Uso was backstage trying to talk to Fatu and trying to get him to listen. Fatu then attacks Jey Uso in the gorilla position. Fatu says that he's not acknowledging Roman. He's not acknowledging shit. Fatu then says, Roman, he's going to have to beat the acknowledgement out of me. Fatu then walks down the ramp. Jimmy Uso's walking up the ramp, trying to reconcile with Fatu. But Fatu attacks Jimmy Uso. Fatu then goes down to the ring. He climbs the apron, stares down Roman Reigns. Fatu then enters the ring. Roman and Fatu both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Roman hitting a Superman punch on Jacob Fatu. Roman then attacks Fatu with a chair shot. Roman then yells at Fatu, acknowledge me or your ass is out of here. Roman then looks unhinged. Roman then goes for a spear, but Fatu counters it with a super kick. Fatu then applies a Tonga death grip on Roman, and then Fatu sends Roman into the ring post. Fatu yells at Roman, you didn't call me, you left my family broke. Roman then hits another Superman punch, but Fatu applies another Tonga death grip. Fatu then hits a powerbomb, sending Roman through the announce table on the outside. Pierce is here. Pierce then yells at Fatu, that's enough. Fatu then has the heavyweight title. He goes to leave the ring, but Fatu decides to change his mind. He runs down the ring to the outside area, hits a hip attack, sending Roman and the Usos through the barricade ringside. Looks like Jacob Fatu has some unfinished business with the tribal chief. Couple of things I want to talk about here, man, when it pertains to Monday Night Raw before I get the hell up out of here. Number one, was it a decent show? Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and say that it was a horrific show, but there was definitely some things that I was not too keen on at all. I want to talk about the Obafemi Open Challenge real quick with you guys. Look, man, I had praised, and I'm still going to continue to praise Obafemi. I do believe in my heart of hearts, man, that Obafemi is the guy that's going to carry this company on his back for the next 10, 15 years. My issue that I have with Obafemi right now, though, is this Open Challenge shit. We go from going to WrestleMania Night 2, and probably, if not the best or the second best main event of the entire weekend of WrestleMania between Obafemi and Brock Lesnar, to this guy now having open challenges weekly on Monday Night Raw. Now, we had the first open challenge when initially we thought it was going to be Tozawa. Instead, it was Otis. Now we get to the second week of this open challenge for Obafemi, and seemingly nobody has answered the call. This clearly pissed off Obafemi. He goes to the backstage area. He spots Los Garza, Angel, Garza, and Berto, and ends up beating the ever-living dog shit out of both these guys, leaving them in a puddle of their own piss in the middle of the ring. My issue with this is that this is going to backfire immensely on Obafemi. At the end of the day, the only person I think that's going to save this open challenge shit right now for Oba would be Obafemi versus the return of Sheamus. I don't see there being really anybody backstage right now on Monday Night Raw that would make this Obafemi Open Challenge intriguing besides the likes of Sheamus. I think the Obafemi is not only... the Open Challenge concept is dead. It needs to burn in a fire somewhere. I said the same shit about Darby Allin in AEW when he's defending the biggest prize of them all in AEW in Open Challenges weekly. The Open Challenge concept needs to die. I don't think this does any favors whatsoever to Obafemi. We're talking about a guy that's going to carry this company on his back for the next 10, 15 years, a guy who's immensely over right now. And seemingly you have this guy having open challenges, taking out guys that are literally sitting in catering doing jack shit. This does Obafemi no justice at all. I don't know how this benefits Obafemi. I don't know how this raises the stakes for Obafemi. And honestly, for what it's worth, I don't need to see Obafemi every single week on Monday Night Raw. I don't need to see him in an open challenge, and not for nothing, I don't need to see him on every single episode of Monday Night Raw because it takes away the mystique of who Obafemi is. Obafemi, to me, is a guy, like I said, is going to carry this company on his back, but he's also... I'm not going to sit here and say like he's Andre the Giant. I'm not going to say that. But it's something where right now, in the position that Obafemi's in, we don't need to see this guy on Monday Night Raw every single week. It's almost like how when Andre the Giant came in, he was an attraction. It was a wow factor with Andre. We didn't need to see Andre the Giant every single week on television tapings for WWF back in the day. I feel the same way with Obafemi. Now, I'm not comparing Oba to Andre the Giant. So before you guys, get all pissed off and, oh my God, this guy's really, comparing this guy to Andre the Giant. That's not what I'm saying. Right now, they have an attraction with Obafemi. He's immensely over. The theme music, the fact that the crowd barks when he comes out. They do the Obafemi strut. This guy's an attraction for WWE. We do not need to see him every single week on Monday Night Raw. I said the same thing about Danhausen. I told you guys when I did my Backlash review that Danhausen he has the comedic value to him. He's funny. A lot of people are gravitated towards Danhausen. But I don't need to see Danhausen wrestle every single week, nor do I need to see Danhausen on every single PLE. Nor wrestling on those PLEs and having WWE charge people $30 to watch this guy wrestle. We don't need it. And I feel the same way with Obafemi. The open challenge concept needs to fuck off and die. Honestly. And that's me putting it as nicely as I possibly can. It's a dead concept. It is lazy-ass booking to have these open challenges, and they mean jack shit. And I honestly don't even know what's worse. If the Obafemi's open challenge is worse than the Darby Allin I don't know. The one thing I'll give Obafemi besides Darby Allin is that Darby Allin's doing the open challenges, carrying the world title and defending that world title in open challenges. With no story, no sense of direction, no meaning behind it. Oba having these open challenges right now is just telling me that WWE Creative has literally no plans for this guy right now. It's like they gave him Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania and we're like, you know what, we ran out of options right now with Obafemi. That's a fucking problem. That's a huge fucking problem. Considering the fact that this guy right now is making this company a shitload of money, and the fact that this guy is a top talent in the company. This guy's no mid-card talent. This guy should be in the main event of Monday Night Raw. And right now, we're doing nothing with Obafemi besides open challenges. Against talent that they're nitpicking from catering. Like Otis, Tozawa. You're nitpicking them. You're going back in catering and say, oh, you know what? You're not doing shit. Why don't you put down that chicken parm sandwich and get your ass out in the ring and actually earn your contract? For a 5-minute squash, because you're going up against the likes of the ruler Obafemi. So enjoy your chicken parm sandwich. Leave it there because it's only going to take about 5 minutes to go out in the ring and get your ass kicked so you can go back and finish your chicken parm sandwich and your ass can sit in catering. That's what I mean by them, nitpicking talent and just cherry-picking talent. I mean, look what happened last night. You have Los Garza trying to get opportunities on Monday Night Raw. Then we get to Obafemi having the open challenge, and Pierce walks out and says, hey, we have nobody backstage right now that's willing to accept this challenge for right now, so we're going to cancel the open challenge tonight. And then this pisses off Obafemi. He walks to the backstage area, and guess who he spots? Los Garza. And these two guys get their ass beat. Like their first day on the job. Hell, as far as I'm concerned, I didn't even know Los Garza was even on Monday Night Raw. As far as I was concerned, Los Garza was a part of AAA. We hardly even seen these guys as of late on Monday Night Raw. What's AAA want nothing to do with their asses now? Oh, welcome back to Monday Night Raw, by the way. But, by the way, you're going to get your ass kicked by Obafemi. So, congratulations on coming back. And don't forget, we got chicken parm sandwiches and pizza and donuts and all this other shit on the side of catering. So when you're done getting your ass kicked, you can go ahead and feed yourself after you get done getting your ass kicked. Come on, man. The open challenge shit needs to fuck off. I'm sorry. I can't put it any more polite than that. It needs to fuck off and die. Same thing with AEW. That whole Darby Allin concept of him defending the AEW World title in open challenges with no sense of direction, no story, no creative behind it. It is meaningless and lifeless. There's nothing to what we're watching. So how can I, as a fan, remotely have any interest in intrigue on what the fuck I'm seeing on television when the writers for this shit alone seemingly have no plans nor direction for a guy like Obafemi, who is a main event guy? It takes away the mystique of Obafemi. And like I said, we do not need to see this guy every single fucking week on Monday Night Raw. It takes away the mystique from Obafemi. We're already, like I said, we're not doing him any justice right now at all by having these dumbass open challenges. And like I said, if we're going to keep doing this open challenge shit, which seemingly that's what they're doing because they already announced another open challenge for Obafemi next week, the only logical name that makes sense to compete against Obafemi in one of these open challenges would be the return of Sheamus. And after that, then what the fuck do we do after that? That's my biggest question. We can't keep having this guy have open challenges for the remainder of his career in WWE. We had to give this guy some kind of direction and some kind of meaning moving forward. I mean, fucking WrestleMania was in April. It's almost, I mean, hell, it's been close to about almost a month ago. And we got no direction for this guy? Come on, bro. Come on, man. So that was one of my issues that I had last night. The other thing that everybody's talking about as well, and I wanted to touch base on this, is this whole Asuka situation. And now I talked about this at Backlash a little bit. And honestly, right now, it's literally up in the air on what's going on with Asuka. What I do know is on last night's episode of Monday Night Raw, we had a little bit of a backstage segment between Io Sky and Asuka, where Io was getting ready for a match against Sol Ruca. She was backstage, and Io was approached by none other than Asuka. Asuka had different kind of face paint on, like she had in her original days in WWE or NXT, and she's emotional. She hugs Io Sky, and Io says, no matter how many times we fight, we'll always be family. And then seemingly she's waving Asuka off, and you can see Asuka walking past Io, going through the doors, carrying her luggage, and walking out of the arena of Monday Night Raw last night. I'm gonna put my conspiracy theory hat on here for a second when it pertains to Asuka. This is my thing with Asuka. Either one, WWE sees the writing on the wall for Asuka. I think she's about 40 years old now, maybe a little bit older. And I genuinely feel like WWE really doesn't have a lot of plans for Asuka as of right now. And to be honest with you, after the match with Io that she just had at Backlash, the fact that Kairi Sane, one half of the Kabuki Warriors, has been let go out of her contract, I don't think Asuka... I told you guys before, I feel like Asuka has almost tapped her ceiling at this point in WWE. She's done it all. She's been a Women's Royal Rumble winner. She's been multi-time Women's Champion. She's been Women's Tag Team Champions, former NXT Women's Champion. I mean, this woman has done it all. She's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't know if there's really that much left for Asuka to do at this point in WWE. My other conspiracy theory with Asuka is knowing what we know now with certain talents, meaning like the New Day, and the fact that, you know, TKO and Mark Shapiro and Ari Emanuel have already approached talent and already kind of try to restructure their contracts, either he or she, to take a 50% pay cut on this restructured deal. This also could have been something that was approached to Asuka as well. And this was something maybe that Asuka was able to give the time to kind of think and reevaluate her situation with WWE. And maybe that's the reason why she's taking some time off, to really reevaluate her status in WWE. And I'm going to be honest, man, I you know, as far as Asuka's concerned, my biggest gripe with Asuka, I won't even say gripe, but my biggest thing with this situation with Asuka, if it is a situation, is Asuka going to walk? Because I can only imagine what it would be. I mean, holy hell, if WWE and Ari Emanuel and TKO would have released both Kairi Sane and Asuka in those last releases. Or was this something that they saw the writing on the wall with Asuka, but still gave her this match with Io because Asuka really wanted this match with Io? And seeing Asuka and Io backstage last night on Monday Night Raw, it was almost as if Asuka was passing the torch to Io Sky. It almost seemingly seems as if Asuka is almost done with the company. You know, and right now, like I said, nobody really genuinely knows what's going on with Asuka right now, but everything that we've seen so far and heard up to this point, especially last night, it just seems as if maybe Asuka has one foot out the door with WWE. And honestly, I can't blame her. I honestly can't. Asuka's been with this company for, 14 years? Something like that? Some change? And now it's to a point where I feel like they don't really have a legit plan for Asuka. And here we are now in the middle of the road where she's about, 40 years old or 40 and some change. And what's the creative direction for Asuka? Because there's no more Kabuki Warriors. I don't see Io and Asuka teaming up to form a tag team. So what's next for Asuka? I mean, if I was Io Sky, I think they should be focusing on Io going after the Women's World title at some point, or the Women's Intercontinental title. But where does this leave Asuka? And that's my other biggest gripe with last night's show. One positive about the show is that I did appreciate the fact that the AAA Mega Championship was defended last night on Monday Night Raw. Now, clearly they're hyping up this matchup here, Mass versus Mass, between OG Americano versus El Grande Americano. I believe that takes place late May. Mass versus Mass. So I was excited for Dominic defending the Mega Championship on Monday Night Raw. I think it was a class act by WWE to do so. It gives a little more limelight into what AAA is doing. So I thought that was a good match. And then we get the Roman Reigns acknowledgement ceremony. Now, a lot of people were wondering what the hell was going to happen with this. Is Fatu going to acknowledge the Tribal Chief? Is he seemingly going to tell Roman Reigns to piss off? And that's seemingly what happened last night. Fatu showed up in the arena. Jay's trying to reconcile with Fatu. Fatu ain't hearing it. He ain't having it. And ends up beating the dog shit out of Jey Uso in the gorilla position. And then we have Fatu beelining into the ring. He attacks Jimmy Uso. And then Roman and Jacob pretty much pick up where they left off 2 weeks ago on Monday Night Raw, where one of them goes through the announce table. And that's exactly what happened when Fatu hit a powerbomb on Roman, sending Roman through the announce table. So, my thing is now with Fatu and Roman, where do we go from here? Obviously, there's some unfinished business here between Fatu and Roman. Fatu is trying to do whatever he possibly can in his power to get to the status of where Roman Reigns is right now in the company. He feels as if he's been robbed of opportunities. I mean, you heard him last night telling Roman that you never called. You left my family broke. You didn't give me the opportunities. So obviously there's a little hostility there from Fatu when it pertains to Roman. Roman and the Usos kind of left Jacob Fatu hanging. And these guys were over here eating good and main eventing these pay-per-views and becoming world champions or tag team champions, while Fatu has been on the indies grinding, trying to make something of himself, trying to get that opportunity that he now has with WWE. So, I mean, I can understand the story in itself because there's some realism behind it. Because Fatu wants what Roman has. He wants to be the top guy. And I told you guys before that when Fatu came in, it was one of the best acquisitions that WWE has gotten in a very long time. He is a force to be reckoned with, man. He is the Samoan Werewolf. And when he gets in that ring, man, he's pulling no punches. He's in there to kick your ass, whether you like the guy or not. And I like the fact that they added the Tonga Death Grip that was made famous more notably by Haku. I'm glad that, Fatu's able to use that and bring that Tonga Death Grip into WWE, and he's able to use it. But I think this is something where we got some inner turmoil here with the Bloodline. Especially after what happened last night on Raw, with Fatu attacking Jay and Jimmy and attacking Roman Reigns. Maybe Fatu was on an island all by himself now. But again, it does beg the question, are we going to get Solo Sikoa involved? Are we going to get Tala Tonga involved? Are we going to get, all these different names involved in, into the storyline here between Fatu and Roman Reigns? That's the other biggest gripe that I had with last night's show. All in all, though, I don't think it was that bad of a show. There were certain things that I wasn't too keen on. There were certain things that I wasn't a big fan of. And I'm hoping that these things do change, especially the Obafemi Open Challenge. I think it's a horrible mistake. We heard from the Intercontinental Champion with Penta. The other thing I want to talk about too quickly, I don't know if you guys saw this last night, but Vision had a backstage interview, I believe, with Jackie Redmond. And they're talking about the Street Profits and the tag team titles and all this other shit, and they're going into their SUV. So Logan enters the SUV. Austin Theory, I believe, is still talking to Jackie Redmond backstage, but the door is open. The back doors are open. And in the back seat of this SUV, we see none other than Maxine Dupree. Now, we've also seen Maxine talk to Austin Theory backstage as well on multiple episodes of Monday Night Raw as of late. So is this something where Maxine Dupree is also going to be joining the likes of Braun Breaker, Austin Theory, and Logan Paul in the Vision? Because if not, then why is Maxine Dupree hanging out with Logan Paul and Austin Theory if she's not going to be joining the Vision? So that was my other interesting factor that I had with last night's show. But at the end of the day, man, I mean, it depends on how this show goes. And what I mean by that is how much creative storyline we're going to get. Because at the end of the day, there's people out there that are going to shit on AEW, and there's no sense of direction, there's no creative, there's no end in sight. It's just all up in the air. And they're not wrong. But at the end of the day, sitting there just to shit on AEW for that, when you're looking at Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, SmackDown is just as bad, if not worse, than AEW. It's horrible. Lackadaisical booking. It's a 3-hour goddamn show that is just mind-numbing as all hell on a Friday night for 3 hours. Things need to change. Them going to 2 hours is just putting lipstick on a hog at this point. That's all it's doing. We're going to cut it down from 3 hours to 2, but give you the same old song and dance and the same old bullshit that we've been getting now for God knows how long. Come on, bro. Make the shows exciting. Write a fucking story so we can get intrigued with the product. I've been saying this now for the longest fucking time, whether it's AEW, Raw, or SmackDown. Write a story that's compelling enough for us to get invested and want to watch the product, the when, the where, and the why. And it's not really that hard of a concept to understand for most people. But for Tony Khan and Triple H, it is an extremely hard task to do, to actually try to comprehend the fact that, hey, maybe we need some story to this shit. Yeah, I think it's time to wake up and smell the fucking folders. Clearly, everybody's been saying the same shit now for God knows how fucking long. Hell, I've actually had people that I've talked to after Backlash and said, hey, you know what, bro? I think Backlash was better than Night 1 of WrestleMania. It's hard to fucking argue that. It's hard to argue that, bro. It really is. Especially with the endless amount of fucking commercials we got on Night 1. It was a, 4-hour show? We only got, an hour or 2 hours of wrestling out of that 4-hour show? Come on, man. And they should have called it Commercial Mania rather than actually WrestleMania. There were so many goddamn commercials for WrestleMania. It was unbelievable. And the fact that we're sitting here now and just got through Backlash, which, in my opinion, is a middle-of-the-road pay-per-view, and you already had people out there, stating the fact that they genuinely believe that Backlash was better than Night 1 of WrestleMania, is absolutely insane to me. Considering the fact that WrestleMania is supposed to be the biggest show of the year, the show of immortals. It is the Super Bowl of professional wrestling. And you have some bullshit pay-per-view in Tampa with Backlash, and people are saying, oh, you know what? Backlash was better than Night 1. I ain't gonna lie, bro. It's hard to discredit that. It's hard to argue that, because WrestleMania Night 1 was a flop. 100% a flop. And right now, there's other companies out there that are trying to pick up the pace and kind of close WWE in because of all their bullshit. TNA, New Japan, AAA, AEW. They're all trying to make their mark because they know the writing on the wall for WWE is showing. It's corporate greed, man. And because of that, and that corporate greed, it's ultimately going to demolish this company into nothing. Unless they change shit. They have to change something to get the fans excited for this product. If not, it's going to be the same old song and fucking dance every single week, bro. It's a rinse and fucking repeat. It gets old, man. Let's get some excitement. Let's get some intrigue. I heard through the grapevine that Collision on Saturday was at SoFi Stadium, where they had the Tiger Woods Golf League. And you had a matchup between Darby Allin and Pac, and they're beating the shit out of each other on the green and in the bunkers and all the sand pits and all this other shit. I thought it was great. It was different. It was creative. It was intriguing. Something new, something different. I would like to see more of that in AEW, or if not in WWE. It gives the fans a little more excitement into the match, just based off the surroundings of these guys wrestling on a putting green. I mean, it's hilarious. It's great. They should have more of that. Have some fun. Have some excitement. Let's get back to having some fun and actually enjoying watching pro wrestling. Because right now, with the corporate greed from WWE and the way that AEW is booking their world champion right now, it's just you're grinding your teeth just trying to get through the shit because it's so goddamn mind-numbing. Because there's no sense of direction. There's no sense of story, bro. We need the when, the where, and the why. We need story. And story that is captivating enough to get the fans' attention to want not only to watch more, but to crave more. Because if they get that, then clearly every single week when it comes to 8 o'clock on a Dynamite for Wednesday or a Monday Night Raw on Netflix or a SmackDown, they're going to be intrigued the week before going into the new episode because it's like, holy shit, I can't believe we saw that. I wonder what they're going to do this week. Now, I wish pro wrestling got back to that. Leave us with some cliffhangers. Give us some excitement. If you do that, then there will definitely be more intrigue with these companies. But both companies, being WWE and AEW, for the past couple years have shit the bed. Absolutely shit the bed. And hopefully things will change for the better for WWE. But with that being said, though, this is my review of Monday Night Raw. I hope you guys are out there staying safe. Be careful. And remember, stay classic. Peace.